And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. We sit down and record this one pretty much right after the Boston Bruins skate to a come-from-behind victory at home, 4-3 over the Philadelphia Flyers, entering the third period down 3-1, folks. The Bruins come back with 2 goals in the third, Trent Frederic and Brad Marchand off their sticks, and then Pavel Zacha wins it in overtime for the second game in a row for the Boston Bruins. Let me rephrase that. For the second overtime win in a row for the Bruins. They didn't win in overtime in Chicago, but the Detroit game they did. Pastrnak Zacha, same combo. And the Bruins now have won 4 games in a row for the first time this season. As always, Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly presented by our lead sponsor in pod, Fazenda Coffee. Razor, do you know if you go to fazendacoffee.com, that's F-A-Z-E-N-D-A, fazendacoffee.com, and they have a gear and gifts tab at the top. And if you pop that, you open that up and you go to Morning Brew, you can look at different things you can get, including the Morning Brew Bundle. The Morning Brew Bundle includes the Clean Canteen Traveler, the Morning Brew Blend, a bag of that, 12 ounces of that, and a Morning Brew hat, the one that you are so magnificently wearing here, Razor. If you are on YouTube watching us, you can see it. If not, it is magnificent. Anyways, that's for $75 and include shipping. And then this is something that makes a great holiday gift. So go check out fazendacoffee.com. And by the way, Razor, you don't have to get just the Morning Brew blend. If you want a different blend, if you're not into the dark roast, you want a medium roast, Fazenda's got you covered. So they're a full service coffee place, both wholesale and retail, and for gifts idea. Morning Brew stuff. How was your day? You were rinkside. Mm-hmm. You had some stuff going on early. How was your day?
It was good. It was a little afternoonish at times. Yeah. But I felt like the Bruins were in control most of the time. I thought their goal, Kolosov made some huge saves that didn't allow the Bruins to get momentum. I thought the first goal from Frederic was going to I thought that's when they were going to go, and then they gave up a goal late in the second. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That late end of second goal was not a feel-good moment.
No, that was the one where it's like, oh, it's going to be kind of like similar to Vancouver. We're going to leave this game losing 3-2, but feeling good about it, but not because they didn't get 2 points and they've got a long road trip, etc. So in the end, it turned out to be a great typical Garden matinee game where you get lots of excitement. Everyone's happy, lots of kids. They're doing the wave, and they got a good product at the end of it.
Yeah, speaking of good product, you know what? I screwed up the production side of this because I'm producing this show again. So I'm going to put the Fazenda thing up right now. Okay. Yep. Because we love Fazenda and all that they do. And I'm going to show you the ticker because like we've got this capability now. Like this is some great thing. Here you go. So
just let her rip for
I'm sorry,
minutes.
Pete and Phil over at Fazenda are screwing.
They'll forgive you, I'm sure.
Oh, they will.
If everybody goes and buys bundles, then they'll really forgive you. So get out there and do that.
All right, thanks for doing that. But yeah, listen. I mean, it was a good overview of this game. High above, a lot of good stuff. Some again, Razor. They're still allowing the Bruins. That is. Teams to get to the middle of the ice with the play and the puck and the bodies a little bit too much. Yeah. Let's start with the good stuff though in this game. What order would you, or give me 2 or 3 good stuffs?
I thought the power play was good. Okay. They didn't. The first unit didn't score the way you would have liked to have them closed out the game in the third. They're still not there yet, but I thought they moved it much better than they had. I thought they had the bumper going. I think they're starting to feel the bumper vibe a little bit.
14 shots on the power play in this game, 1 goal. To Razor's point, it was scored by the second unit, but we'll get to that. But go ahead, keep going. 14 shots.
Yeah, so that was good. Their push in the third was fantastic. That's what we've been kind of waiting. Hasn't been a lot of that at home ice, especially this season. That third period push when they're in a tie game or down. We finally got to see that, so that was very positive, I thought. And they're just playing a little bit faster. They're playing a little bit better. To your point on the defensive zone, we'll get to that. Like I'm curious if that's just the way the league is now. I'm wondering, the more and more I watch it. I watched Winnipeg the other night. I thought they gave up chances to Buffalo. Like, I'm curious just kind of if that's just where we are with the game and early in the season, or if that's going to get tightened up, or if Minnesota and Washington are just that much better in those areas of the ice, or it's something we have to deal with now that the league's changed so much in 4 years. But again, I just like the effort. I think the individuals are getting better as well. The Frederics, the Geekies. It just feels like they're freeing up a little bit more.
Yeah. I like Swayman making saves at key times.
Correct.
So
Breakaway
goaltending coming through, especially in the overtime.
Yep.
On Farabee's breakaway. I agree with you about the individuals, some of them stepping up. I think that they're getting it is a better, well, yeah, it is. It was a good work ethic game. It was a great work ethic play in overtime by Zacha and Pastrnak to help lead to this goal. But it actually started with the back check by Zacha, by Pastrnak. But overall, like I think that this team, Nikita Zadorov talked about it. We're playing for each other more. There seems to be some more of that. And I know that can be kind of corny, cliche, all for one for all talk, but it's needed in a long 82 game season. You can't fake it. You can fake it for a bit. Now, again, we're going to see, and they're going on the road and playing some good, maybe not great teams. I mean, it depends how you view Calgary. How do you view Edmonton? How do you view Vancouver? Mm-hmm. Obviously, Winnipeg's very good, although they are scuffling lately. 4-7-0 and they're 11 coming into this game. I didn't see, they were tied last I checked with Chicago. I don't know what's going to happen, but 4-7-0 after a 15-1-0 start. So it'll be interesting to see. But they are playing for each other, and not just physically, but it seems like they're picking each other up emotionally too, and that's important. Before, it seemed like remember when they would get down by a goal or they gave up a goal, it was unravel city. It was
2 or 3 right behind it,
behind within 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it was. You're like, what the heck is going on? So there seems to be a better connection with the guys. And that's important to me. And I like seeing that. I did not like that third goal. Let's quickly run through the game as we like to do here. Just as last show we did was after both Detroit and Chicago. So we're pretty much doing a 1-game show here. I mean, we can dovetail on anything else we want. Well, let's just set things up here. First period, Bruins came out with some opportunities, but at 7:24, it was Matvei Michkov, the young Russian star for this team. The
kid's awesome.
The kid is awesome, and the puck finds him, bud.
Yeah, it does. He's a hockey player. Yeah. He is a hockey player.
And he's a finisher. I mean, this is a guy, he is a hungry hippo when it comes to the puck finding him, and he just wants to score. He scores from Couturier and Andre on the power play. It was a quick power play strike as they move the puck from low to high, and then the shot comes in. Couturier makes a very nice play off the rebound, the one-hand pass it over to Michkov, his 10th. And then 18:24, Michkov gets his next one from a beautiful pass from Travis Sanheim. Sanheim had come in down the left wing defense spot and picked up the puck that fortuitously, if you're a Flyer fan, went off the leg, skate, whatever, of the official. It just and it deadened it and allowed him to pick it up. And then he smoked it, though, run the bullet pass over to Michkov, who was off to the glove side doorstep of Jeremy Swayman. And you're like, oh, shit, come on. Too many goals in the last 2 minutes, Razor, and during this season for teams heading into at the end of a period, heading into the locker room.
Yeah, the second one stunk because, again, it would have been easy to write off the 1-0 afternoon. They got one on the power play. We didn't, but we played better and we were better. And then being down 2 changes things and how you feel, despite them still playing better, I thought, and having the better opportunities. But it's an uphill battle at that point. It really is. And again, they kept their nose to it, which, to your point a little bit earlier, they hadn't done a lot in the first month and a half.
Shots were 7 for Philadelphia, 9 for Boston in the first period. Again, one of those 2 goals was on the power play. Boston comes out in the second period at 5:26 mark. Trent Frederic scores his 4th goal of the season on the power play, near the end of the power play. It was a backhand that Kolosov, the young Russian netminder, actually he might be Belarusian. I don't remember. Regardless,
He is Belarus.
Thank
yes.
you. Okay,
yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Goes through his legs almost like he didn't even react to it, because that's the point. I mean, Freddie got it on the back end, swatted it, no chance for him to get reset. But it was really about the decision by, geeky battle, low ride, getting the puck up top, and then shooting it through, getting it through, having the rebound created. As simple power play execution as you can find in hockey.
Florida Panthers. That's it. The Vegas Golden Knights. That's the goal we're talking about. That's the goal that Freddie should score 15 more of those the rest of the season, where he starts figuring out. You'd said it a couple weeks ago. He's a little too close to the net. That one, he's above. He allows that block to be made, and then he pounces on the second effort rather than being in behind the defenseman. He stays above it. I think they'll start figuring that out. And there's opportunities there. And I love the mindset. I really do. I think it's going to pay off. It's not quite as pretty. It's not as fun. It's not as razzle dazzle, as you say, but it's if they get good at this and they figure this out, it will be beneficial on the stretch run.
So, you're putting Frederic and Coyle out there along with Geeky and Brazo, and, Brazo is now they've moved, as we know, we've moved around the lines around a bit, which is fine. Pastrnak playing with Marchand and Lindholm, although that got changed in this game too. The point being, in this second unit, these guys have developed some chemistry. They understand that this is a physical power play. This is not a skilled power play. And this is a flush pucks to the net power play. It's as simple as that. We can sit here and talk about it. They can talk about it too, but you have to execute it. And while the first unit did more of it in this game, we mentioned the 14 shots, not all off their sticks, but a lot of them were. This second unit gets the puck off the wall a lot quicker, a lot more than the first unit. I know they're on the ice less. I get that. They're on the ice probably 30 seconds compared to a minute and a half for the top unit, right? Yeah. Basically. But they don't F around with it. They don't screw around with it on the wall. They don't do rim plays that much unless they have to change the side. They take it off the wall. They move it to one spot. If they go up high, they try to get it to the net, and they attack the net with two bodies. Mm-hmm. And that type of succinct mentality on the power play, that type of the thinking has done them beautiful.
It has. It does. And listen, it's pretty. You watch tons of NHL. It's pretty standard practice that the first unit does their thing, the second unit is that. There's not many. I don't know of any second units that really buzz it around or use a bumper, or they're pretty dialed in at working at getting to the net and finding pucks, and it suits those guys. I think they have the right group for that second unit. In when you go through those names, I think, okay, this makes sense that this is a good second unit power play because of the way they want to play it and the type of personnel they have for it. It works. And it has. It suits them very well. And I think what we're starting to see as well, and Trent said it as much afterwards, where you start winning a few games, you start scoring a couple of those on the power play, it bleeds into your 5-on-5. It just does. It absolutely does. And those five guys, again, with this new way of thinking and more quantity over quality, the opposite of what Jim Montgomery preached for 2 years plus, is really helpful to that second unit group.
Yeah, and it should help Mason Lohrei, who still at times can be a little of an adventure up top there with the puck.
Yeah, because you can force him to be direct. Right now, there's no option now for the coaching staff. Sacco, there's not a this play you rim it. This play you look for the seam. Now this is what we're doing as defensemen. We're putting it all to the net every time we get it, and he's good at that. Yes. And he has a good enough shot. It's quick enough that he'll get past the first layer and then let everybody else figure it out from there.
I love his guts to make move within 4-6 feet of the blue line. Sometimes I hate it though too. I do,
Of course.
because
Yeah.
and I know you're going to turn puck over, but let's just really simplify this. But I do love his guts, man. I do. I respect the heck out of it.
I do too. And you can be gutsy and Brandon Montour-esque, where you can be gutsy, but still just put wristers on net through that gutsiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, if he finds that little sweet spot the rest of the way, and I think the coaching staff wants him to find that sweet spot and be offensively that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even Cale Makar, right? Like his gutsiness is wristers half of the time. Like you go through all of his points, 70% of them are off wristers, whether it's tips or goals. It's just a little subtlety at the blue line. And it's not end to end. I know we see the highlights of end to end, but a lot of it is just that gutsiness to make a play, but send wristers in. And Mason can do that. That's in his skill set, and it's just a mindset.
So that gets that Frederic goal at 5:26, gets the Bruins within one. Then earlier we mentioned the Cam York goal, his third of the season at 15:29, after a shift that was dominated by the Philadelphia Flyers. And, there was a lot of physicality on that shift from the Bruins because they were chasing the whole freaking shift.
Two huge hits. Past the leveled that guy over. And David was mad from Couturier the shift before, and they got hung up on the physicality a little bit too much.
Yeah. Who did Zadorov nail? He got somebody.
He got Konechny.
Konechny. That's right.
He literally body slammed Konechny.
Yes. So that hurt Konechny there.
Yeah.
And then Pasta was out there too, but they were running and they were beating up guys in front. They were running. They didn't have the puck. I don't know if they touched the puck for I don't remember how many seconds, but it was elongated. It ends with York from the middle of the ice after a very nice play from Sanheim, who is on Team Canada at the Four Nations, brought the puck from below the goal line, hits Cam York in the high mid-high slot, and a good shot. And the kid who played a couple of years at Michigan makes it a 3-1 game. And you're like, oh, shit. It just felt like that was going to be the next goal wins type of thing. It just, I don't know, it just kind of had that feel. And you knew you had the third period, but you weren't sure if Bruins were going to come back. So shots in the second were 12-9 in favor of Philadelphia. Let's get into the third period. Did not start out well for the Bruins. It did not. First 3 minutes, is that accurate?
It was 250. It was 250. Okay. It was 17-10.
Holy smokes.
On the clock, and they'd iced it 3 times off of 4 offensive wins or defensive win faceoffs. They iced it.
You want to talk about a shitty start to a period. It was uninspired. It was disconnected. It was, no, we're not back to that now. We're not back to that. It felt like it, though, at that time.
And for a few of us who really wanted to get home and have stuff to do on Saturday nights, i.e. you, I thought we were going to have an hour-long period. Like, it was like, oh, my God, this is going to suck. I want to get out of here.
Yes, it was not good. But at 5:18, the Frederic, Coyle, Kastelik line gets out there and makes something happen. This time, it ends up being a nice kind of neutral zone and then entry between Coyle and Kastelik. The big two righties are both involved in it, keeping the puck alive and then driving through the middle as the puck, I'll call it pinballed around. That might not be the best description of it, but Trent Frederic goes middle drive and he gets himself there, stick on the ice. And when he turns and he gets it, the puck is perfectly pretty much on his forehand. And in one motion, there's no dusting off. There's no stick handling. He swats the puck past Kolosov to make it a 3-2 game, 5:18. And you had it. I like what I'm seeing from these guys. Again, you got 2 big right shot guys in Coyle and Kastelik. Coyle did finally take a face-off in this game out of necessity. He hasn't taken face-offs for a couple of games now. So obviously something's up. We know that. But he's playing through it. But the straight line play of Mark Kastelik, the good skating from Trent Frederic, I think is pushing this line along right now. The big bodies on the wings are really kind of forcing this line to do good stuff.
It's a third line, right? It's a legit third line National Hockey League line. We've talked a lot about the forwards and where everybody kind of slots. And of course, you go all the way back to the game where they moved Kastelik to the first line. They broke the fourth line up to go all the way through to create momentum. But Kastelik's been awesome all year. And this is a third line for me. This is a third line you roll out game one against, and you get matchups and or you feel fine with them on the ice with the other team's best players. I love the fact that
sorry to interrupt, if you add somebody else, which they're going to have to add some scoring up front.
Yeah.
Maybe, look, you can always put Pastrnak back with the fourth line because that changes things. And a guy like Brazeau, who I know is putting up points, and I'm not saying that he doesn't, he needs to go down, but you could put him on that type of line. I think Pastrnak's probably a little faster, right? It's just the nature of it. And he's a little bit more, he's more physical.
Yeah.
But,
and the timing of it, though, works better than a Brazeau, I think, because Pastrnak is bringing the other two into the fight a little bit more. And we talked about that last show or the show before or on TV. It all bleeds together at this point. But we did talk about Pastrnak bringing Freddie into the fight a little bit and having him catch up and keep pace. And so that's what I like about this line. And again, it works really well right now.
So Frederic gets his second of the game, beg your pardon, fifth of the season. It's now 3-2. And then things were going around. The Bruins were getting some chances. The Kolosov kid made a couple of nice saves. The Bruins pushing it. He was better than I thought he would be, especially after watching Kolosov last game, where he and Fedotov were not good. Let's go to the third goal, though, the one that ties it up. It's a finish by the captain, by Brad Marchand, but it's really, a nice play, a slice pass, we'll call, from Justin Brazeau, an elevated slice pass as he gets it in the zone. The Bruins are dealing with the puck in their zone a little bit. It rotates around over to the right wing side for Philly. It rims around. Brazeau ends up getting it. He had to have heard. I looked on the replay. I did not see him look for Marchand. Maybe peripherally he had seen him go, but Brad was already out. He was extending through the neutral zone, and so he had to yell, I'm guessing. And Brazeau turns, he opens his blade just enough, but he gets a lot on it. But by slicing the puck, and Barry and I talked about this post game, he gets it up there and it deadens it just enough after hitting the glass that it goes perfectly into the stride lane of Brad Marchand, who then comes in down the right side, protects it beautifully, coming to middle ice. He was going against the forward. Was it Forster who was the one that was back pressuring? I'm forgetting right now. I'll look it up.
I don't have it in my
in a second. I think it was Forster. I think it was 71. Anyway, he comes in, he lifts the left leg a little bit, protects the puck, comes in, and then beats Kolosov 5-hole with a real nice move darting in from the right side. Great pass, though. I love the pass from Brazeau, the big man showing his hands.
Yeah, that's something, and you're in the rinks every weekend, that's what NHL guys do so much better than anyone can ever really understand how good that is and how hard that is. The touch to not ice pucks. You go to a college hockey game that has a bunch of high-end talent, they ice the puck nonstop in that situation.
Grenades.
The touch is not there. It just goes. That's the beauty of the NHL. Guys are awesome at that, and he put a perfect touch on it. Also, Brad recognizing that he was going to put touch on it, he got that extra 2 steps on everybody. Brad just sees the game differently and sees those opportunities. It was a thing of beauty. It was again, we haven't seen a lot of that this year. We haven't seen them get those kind of plays from playing good defense, and that's starting to come a little bit. That's exciting. Great job by Brad to slip it 5-hole. That's not easy either. To come down from the right side as a lefty shot, the goalie has to respect a little blocker all the way, but then to slide it backwards, it's easier to do that on your backhand rather than a forehand. Good stuff from Brad. It's fun to see Brad scoring, right? It's fun to see him. Okay. Yes, it was. So, right, because we talked about, okay, he's going to go, but you're not really sure. But now it's like, okay, the surgeries are over. We were going to give him to the end of November. It may be an extra week, but he's starting to keep the puck on his stick a lot more than he was.
So, and that was better acceleration there. And then, by the way, as soon as that puck was sliced, I keep saying sliced out, shot out. It was shot, but it was we called it slice in the post game. I said out loud, I'm like, oh, don't ice it. No icing. Don't ice it. Yeah. It was like curling. It just slowed beautifully into it.
It's an NHL play. Like it's so simple, but that's an NHL. AHL, they would have iced it there.
Most likely. Yeah. So Brad now has points in his last 3 games, coming off the 2-goal game against the Chicago Blackhawks, had an assist against Detroit, and so now make it 3 games in a row that he is he's building something. You know, he's these building blocks have been good, and I think he's feeling well. All right. Speaking of building blocks, why don't we segue quickly into our sponsors right here that help make this show possible? And the first one is Graciano Construction. We love Graciano Construction because, like us, they believe in quality. I don't know if that makes sense or not for us. Do we have quality? Are we quality, you think, Razor? You think do we help refresh and revitalize people's hockey spaces? Maybe we could. Maybe not like Graciano Construction.
I think it's very dependent on the Bruins. But yes,
I would agree about that.
Small part of it, yes.
I would agree. Revitalize and refresh your space with Graciano Construction. Doug Graciano and his crew, I'm telling you, they just bring it, folks. And if you're thinking about doing something, whether it's your kitchen, your mud room, or your garage, whatever, something, painting, give Graciano Construction either a call or check them out at gracianoconstruction.com. The phone number 508-330-7589. All around Greater Boston, Metro West area. They might even go a little further too, but give Doug Graciano a call. It's worth it. He will come visit you. He will talk about it. They will see things that will make a difference. All right. There's nothing that Graciano Construction can't do. And therefore, that's why you should check them out if you're thinking of doing a project. You will not regret it. You will love it. We have done numerous projects with them. Speaking of loving it, let's move over and talk about the best at-home skate sharpening unit that money can buy, and that is Sparks. And now that I've actually clicked the banner and everything, RC, you're welcome. Razor, go ahead and take it away.
I was waiting for you to put the video up too. I'm like, whoa, we're really cooking.
Well, while you talk, I may have to.
Try and figure. I'll talk. You figure out that, because if you pull that off, then we're really cooking in our. I hope you're watching, folks. That was perfect.
Go ahead.
We won't do it. SparksHockey.com. We bought the Cruise in Buffalo this weekend. Decky Doo's up there. They got the Sparks machine cooking in the hotel. Nothing better. And this is a perfect time of year to go to SparksHockey.com. Use the code BREW50. Nothing better for Santa, possibly, to pick up a Sparks machine, or a family member or another family that sharpens a bunch of skates. Go to SparksHockey.com. It is a time saver, a money saver, and an unbelievable machine. Keto did he had a big promotion the other day. Keto is on there, and there's no one better in the biz than him. So if he trusts it, then we all should.
Telling you something. Yesterday, I had a couple of skates to do for Jake and a buddy of his. Did it in a matter of minutes as they got themselves ready for their first middle school game, getting ready. So go check out SparksHockey.com. You will not regret that. SparksHockey.com. Speaking of not regretting it, go check yourself. Go check yourself. Go check out Baydog. Go check out Baydog, because at Baydog.com, Canine Adventure Company. If you go check them out, you're going to come away with something that you absolutely love. Use the code MBRU50 and get yourself 15% off your first order. But they've got so many different things there. They got so many fun products for your dogs, or somebody who has a dog that you want to treat. Whether it is a harness, what the collegiate collection, or just one of the regular harnesses, or their great new Seaside collar. It's leather with a nautical rope design. They got a couple of colors in that. You can go check it out at Baydog.com, or Razor. You can go, if you're in the Belmont area, go to Pet Supply Outlet. That's on Blanchard Road in Belmont. Or you go to Agway of Cape Cod. There's 3 locations, one in Chatham, Orleans, and Dennis. They've been with Baydog for a long time. Chow Bow Wow, North Andover, and in Winchester. This is a 100% veteran-owned company. Baydog.com, canine adventure gear, super high quality, smart designs, but always very reasonably priced. So thank you to Baydog. And do you guys does Mila does she get birthday gifts? Does she like what, we have the dog advent calendar going right now. The who? So the what?
She gets a treat every morning with the advent calendar. So the Christmas 24 days, you get the little candy in the morning. The kids get that. There's a dog one in our house right now. So she literally sits beside the kitchen table with her beautiful Bay Dog pink collar on every morning and waits. She's already Pavlov. Like the dog is already 5 days in. She's got it down. We have a routine now.
Do you treat her better than you treat your kids? Because
she deserves it better than my kids, though, too.
Listen, guilty. Swear to God. He gets more hugs, more kisses, more good boy. Cooper gets more of all that attention than either of my children.
But that being said, I do complain about the fact that my wife gives the dog way more attention than she gives me, too. So, we're all probably guilty of it on some level.
I tell you what, I see Cooper, and it's like all of a sudden, even though I need to leave, I need to do this, I need to do that, I stop. Meanwhile, I see my wife, hey, Vic, I'm sorry, I gotta go. Exactly. Can't hang around. Nope, I'm sorry, I can't be late. Cooper.
Yeah.
Cooper, come over here, buddy. Come lay on me.
Feel so bad leaving him.
Right, exactly. What are you doing laying on the floor with him? I thought you had to go. That's different. This is Cooper.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, go check out Bay Dog. All right, let's talk about the overtime goal. And I want to talk about in particular just the way that David Pastrnak worked on this one. I thought David was good in this game. He only had one shot on goal through 2 periods. I felt he was at times holding on to the puck a little. Again, it just a little longer. Pre-game Razor, we had Breakaway Live. And this time last year, through 28 games, this was the Bruins' 29th game, but through 28 games, he was 20 or 21 points above where he is right now. Now, maybe that's not fair, but I said in our season preview show, I said Pasta's good for 100 points no matter what. Yep. I don't think he's there now, like the pace that he's on, obviously. Yep. But, I've been waiting and stuff, and it just felt like it looked like a different style, a different type of player at times. But this overtime shift, it really, it warmed my heart, like Cooper. It just does. It did. The way that he busted his ass to get back, to help Lowry out on what could have been a 2-on-1. He helps get the puck. Then he gets his gallop going the other way. And then instead of not giving up, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I'm going to get off. No, the puck gets in the zone after they kind of get into it. They get into a battle along the wall. There's 2 flyers, one of them being Tippett. I don't remember the other one. And Zacha's down there. They get into it. And then Pastrnak busts his ass, wins the battle, takes the puck from the right side behind the net to the other side, the blocker side of the goaltender, Kolosov, and makes a gorgeous pass over to Pavel Zacha on the other side, just like the game the other night against Detroit. And Zacha roofs it from a kind of a sharp angle, just a gorgeous shot right there. No chance for Kolosov. So I loved the totality of the play. And the third period and the overtime kind of said to me, that's it. There you go. Yes, of course, I want to see the one-timer. Yes, of course, I want to see that slingshot. Mm-hmm. I want to see that shot that we saw umpteen times last year that we haven't seen yet. But you know what? I'm taking this more than other stuff because I love the work ethic mentality on that shift.
Yeah, and I think you love it as much because those other things aren't there. And he's not phased by it. He's working through it and grinding through it and just doing it differently, which is the true sign of a great player that really understands and is a hockey player. And you made a great point, Zacha. That my original was an easy goal, and then you see the replay, and he was much further down in the Draisaitl. He was in the Draisaitl area.
Yes, great comparison.
He was not up on the hash marks like I initially thought. That was a heck of a goal, but again, a heck of a look and great ability by Zacha to get open for David to find the seam as he rims the net. Just quickly, you mentioned it, like you shoot David. The one play in the second where David goes all the way around up top, and he has a chance to send that wrister in that we've seen him score from. And he doesn't, and he holds on, and then he holds on for another split second, and then he tries to toe drag, and then he loses it. That's like that example of what you're talking about. I saw it as well in the first 2 periods. It's different, but David's still carrying this group offensively, and if he can continue to stay the course and grind through it, Again, I'm still waiting, just like Brad getting going a little bit. I'm waiting for David to score 9 goals in a week. I feel like it has to happen. I could be wrong.
How much harder, Razor, is this for him, given that they don't have that option like a Jake DeBrusk there? And Jake, again, was he was the incredible roller coaster ride. I'm not making him out to be the end all be all, but at least it was another
he could separate himself.
Option and exactly. And so is that the main reason? Or is it, to me, optically at times, David looks to be off a little bit, but it's better lately, but it's still not the same that we saw last year.
Yeah.
Last 2 years.
It's not the same. I think we underrated what he did last year and how hard it was to be 40 points more than everybody else on the team.
Which isn't great either. I mean,
that's my point. Like that it actually, in hindsight, like that wasn't really that good. And the way he actually carried this group last year was very underrated. And I think we're seeing a little bit of a reverse to the mean where you really just one player just can't do what he did last year on a consistent basis. So we're seeing that with minus DeBrusk, with a bad power play. And those things are combining. So last year was so bananas elite. He probably should have been MVP when you look back now and like, holy, that was nuts. And then you combine that with the lack of power play opportunities and Jake DeBrusk a little bit. Yes.
I mean, a guy like that, at least,
just theory, the way they, just
a
somebody
25 to a 30 goal guy in theory, right? In theory,
that's right.
Jake should be that. 12 shots in the third for the Bruins, 6 for the Flyers. Each team had 1 shot in overtime. Swayman with some big saves in the third period, not maybe quantity, but 2 or 3 quality saves. Thought he did a nice job in this game. I didn't think any of the goals that were scored on him were his issue at all. And I think he did a nice job. So he's won a couple of games. The Bruins have won 4 in a row now. And now this team gets a day off on Sunday, practice Monday morning, and then head on a 5-game roadie. I'm not calling it West Coast. It's somewhat West Coast. I mean, Seattle is West Coast, but it's that Northwest. It's, you start in Winnipeg, which is Central West.
Yeah,
then
West Coast is fun because that's LA, and Anaheim.
Right.
This is
this is Northwest.
Yeah,
and it ain't a coast.
No fun.
It ain't a coast.
There ain't no ocean in Calgary.
No, there isn't. There's some good fishing in a river, the Bow River, but it's cold. I looked at Winnipeg, and it's going to be pretty cold there too. So we'll see how the guys do. But that will be a good challenge, even though Winnipeg, as we mentioned earlier in the show, has been struggling a bit lately. It's going to be a very good challenge because you're heading out. I'm not going to put a number of points yet on this trip, but I fully expect to see Korpisalo 2 of the 5 games and understand it, and rightly so. The good news for the Bruins on this trip, there's no back-to-backs. Yeah. And so they get rest. It's a long trip though. They're going to be tired. They got to get through this. They're going to be tired heading into Christmas because they go on this 5-game roadie. Then they come home. If I remember correctly, they have a Saturday night game against Buffalo and then a
21-23 Monday night. And then
after
they're
27-28.
Yeah.
So they're going to play. I'm going to guess if they're not the number 1 most games played team by the 28th of December, they're going to be right there like they are right now.
No one's passing them here in the next 3 weeks.
Right. Then they'll get some rest. So they got to get through December 28th, which is a long ways away. Yet on the other hand, it's only a couple of weeks. So let's just get them on the road. Bruins win
4 in a row. Enjoy it. Like we're getting there's a little distance. Go look at the standings. It's like, okay, there's 4 points between every, it's things are good.
It's better. There's no question it's better. I'm really happy for Joe Sacco too right now.
Me too. No, that's a good way to start. Okay. Now I can move things how I want to move them now. He's got a little bit of street cred right out of the gates. Like, that's good.
Right. He can put his own little touch on things. Right. Just like Graciano Construction does.
There you go. Touch him up.
All right. Bruins win 4-3 in overtime. Razor, you and I are going to be back. We're going to do shows after the Tuesday and Thursday game coming up this week, given that they're a little later.
You talked me into both of those, but
I know. Well, the Tuesday game's not bad.
Tuesday's fine.
Yeah. Thursday sucks.
Yeah,
Thursday sucks. Is that a 10:30 game?
I think it might be. Like, that's a
really. Did I really Did I really commit to that? Hold on.
I don't know. It did it on the schedule when I looked at it, but that might be an audible at
Let's
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it definitely.
We love you, folks.
It's a 10 o'clock game.
Oh, okay.
It's a 10 o'clock game, and we only have in theory,
we'll crank it out. Hopefully, it's worth talking about.
Maybe we'll have to. Maybe we'll tie down Sean and have him let us go right away, and just let the new guy, let the rookie do it. The rookie host,
exactly.
This new guy,
sure I'm sure the new guy will feet to his fire. He can figure it out.
We'll let him do that. All right. So, folks, we'll be back after Tuesday's game against the Winnipeg Jets. In the meantime, again, as Razor said, enjoy it. They're winning 4 in a row. That means you should go out, have yourself an extra, not just coffee, but have yourself an extra beverage and enjoy that coffee.